Tomorrow we have an author that's coming in to talk about his latest book. It's a novel. Now, if you could think of one family member or perhaps a friend who you think that you could bring back from the dead, who would it be? That's what the novel is about. We'll talk to him. He's a second, third-time guest. He'll be here tomorrow. He's driving in from actually the coast. I believe Carmel. He's driving in from Carmel or someplace like that. Anyway, he is a great writer, and he wrote this book, and it's a short novel, and you'll enjoy hearing about it tomorrow. Then on Friday, it's a show that you can't miss because we're talking about the change in health care. We're talking about Obamacare, the Affordable Care Act, and what about covered California right here in our own state? We'll have an expert in the House that knows what's going on regarding Obamacare. What will the Trump administration do? What will Congress do? What will the state of California do in defiance if they don't do what the leaders in Washington are supposed to do according to our leaders here in California? Anyway, you're watching us live on Comcast Channel 375 as usual. It is Comcast Cable, my friends, and it goes far and it goes wide up and down the Central Valley Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning. If you don't have Comcast Cable, hey, who cares? Doesn't matter. You can watch us over the air broadcast 43.6, 13.1 every day as well. Then the replay comes up at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, 13.6 YouTube. Like it or not, it replays at 8 o'clock at night, another time, 4.6 Biz TV. And then like it or not again, it ends up on YouTube, I think, forever, my friends. Anyway, most everyone who aspires to be a writer, I think maybe they think about, you know, I'd love to be as good as William Saroyan. You know, he's that world-renowned writer that was born right here in the city of Fresno back in 1908. Matter of fact, he didn't get recognized, didn't really start writing until the age of 20 years old, believe it or not. I want to put up the first photo, my friends, and show you. There he is, William Saroyan. He was the son of Armenian immigrants. His father died at the age of 3, so along with his brother and sister, Saroyan was placed in an orphanage in Oakland. 5 years later, the family moved to Fresno, where his mother secured a job at the cannery. While Saroyan himself, he worked some odd jobs. He sold newspapers and did other things. As a student, though, Saroyan himself freely admits he'd been kicked out of school so many times he finally left for good at the age of 15. But not long thereafter, he decided to write. At the age of 26, his first book came out, The Daring Young Man on the Flying Trapeze, and other stories, and I mean tremendous stories and tremendous books. That was 1934. He focused on short stories. He was a novelist, a playwright, and in 1940 he won the Pulitzer Prize for drama. 1943 he won the Academy Award for Best Story in the Film. What was that film? The Human Comedy.
I'm an old-time telegrapher, one of the last in the world. I'm also night wire chief in this office. I am also a man with memories of many wondrous worlds gone by.
Why haven't you married one of those guys?
I don't love one of them, dear. I love you.
She loves me. She loves me not. She loves me. She loves me not.
The Human Comedy has the distinction, unique in entertainment history, of being the first motion picture from which a Book of the Month Club selection was written. The Human Comedy was created by Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, the famous Academy Award studio which recently brought you The Unforgettable Mrs. Miniver and Random Harvest, and has been produced on an even more impressive scale.
Revan is now on KVHF channel 4.4.
After God created the world, he made man and woman. Then, to keep the whole thing from collapsing, he invented humor.
Sub, a perfect reason to rejoice. A distinctly positioned channel in the crowded Hindi general entertainment channel space. It is India's only family comedy entertainment channel with a core brand promise of असली मजा सबके साथ आता है.
हाँ, देख रहा हूँ.
Which means celebrate the joy of being together. Taking humor as a universal language, the shows on Sub are light-hearted and make up for an enjoyable family viewing experience. Indeed.
असली मजा सबके साथ आता है.
अब तो सबको पता है यार.
Sub TV is now on digital channel 31.8.
Back here on the program, boy, what a film it was, the human comedy, live in our studio right now. And our two guests to talk about this and much more regarding William Saroyan is Dr. Susie Kalinian and her father, Paul. They are here to talk about a documentary about William Saroyan, a film they wrote, they produced and directed. It's going to be seen at a local church this coming Sunday. We'll tell you what time, where that church is located, and all the rest. But William Saroyan, certainly one of the greatest writers of all time. How many books did he write, by the way?
He wrote 60 books. He was so
Wow.
prolific in 60 years. So that's like one book a year from when he was born.
Welcome to the program, Susie
Thank you.
Kalinian, your father, Paul. Paul, you knew William Saroyan personally.
Yes.
How did he have time to write all these books? And he was a playwright as well. And then, you know, he was writing screenplays. And how did he have time to do all that?
Well, he wrote constantly, day and night. Anytime that he found time to write something, he wrote the books, and he never stopped. When he was in Paris, one of the reason that he went to Paris, he said he wants to be alone. He doesn't want to be bothered with friends and relatives and coming to Fresno and taking his time. So he wrote and wrote and wrote.
He didn't like spending time with his family?
He did like spending time with his family, but when he got into that writing mode, he was very focused, very concentrated. And 6-day stint, he would produce a Pulitzer Prize winning play. You know, it was just amazing. He was very prolific. He didn't believe in union hours for writers. He didn't believe in, you know, writing with a little teacup and a little cookie. He felt that if you were a writer, that's all you did. Day and night, you wrote.
Yeah, amazing. And so, okay, this film is going to be shown this coming Sunday at a local church. Where is that church located? What time will the film start? And let's talk about the film a little bit, about what you did with your father in writing and producing this film about William Saroyan.
Sure. Well, first of all, the church is the First Armenian Presbyterian Church that's located in the historic Huntington Boulevard area in
First Street.
First and Huntington Boulevard.
Just down the street here.
Just down the street here.
Yeah.
And in fact, that was William Saroyan's boyhood church, which makes it really appropriate. So it's the Knights and Daughters of Vartan, an organization that will be sponsoring the event. The proceeds will go to benefit their charitable projects. The church is located on 430 South 1st Street in Fresno. And it will be at 1 o'clock Sunday, March 5th. We'll have a luncheon first. And then at 2 o'clock, we'll have the film show.
Okay, and that's at the Armenian Church down the street here on 1st Street. Now, Susie, you produced the film. Paul, you wrote it and directed it.
Yes.
How long did it take? And it's been playing, by the way, for how many, 20-something years?
26 years. This will be the 26th silver anniversary showing.
Right. And so how long did it take you to write it? Because a lot of people say, well, you know, I've already seen the film. It's an hour long, but you're going to show it again because?
Because the film, actually, when I first started working on it, I did lots of research with Susie. And finally, I came up with 2-hour documentary at the beginning. So when I calculated and put it in the cost, it cost me $2 million. I said, that's impossible. I can't write a story. So the story is what in this film is only just the basics. It's not everything that people
It's an hour long.
Right.
It's an hour long.
It's 1 hour, 1 hour
Yeah.
long.
His life, his works, it touches
Yeah.
upon all the major works that he's done, a little bit about his family life, a little bit about why he became a writer, his identity, what inspired him,
Yeah.
and recreated scenes, a lot of multimedia. But the reason why people continue to see it over and over again and continue to want to come and see it again and again, because each time they see a little something different in it.
All right, maybe you can give me some updated numbers, because I read that between 1991 and 2003, this film had been shown in 58 cities, 22 countries. Over 1 million people had seen it, including in Armenia, by the way.
Yes, and Turkey.
And Turkey. And it won 6 International Film Festival awards. The film premiered back in April 13th, 1991.
Yes.
So how many countries has it been seen in now in 2017, as of now, current?
As of now, 16 countries
Okay.
has seen this film. And
60?
16.
16.
1-6.
And 60 cities.
Well, actually, 19 countries, I believe, Dad.
Well, yes.
Well, actually, I read that
22
up
countries?
to 2003 it was
Could be.
22 countries. So I don't
A
know.
lot of countries, John.
Okay.
Right.
We've been all over the world
You
multiple
have it,
times.
including in Israel.
Yes.
Yes, we've been in Israel.
And how was the film received in the state of Israel?
Oh, very warmly, because a lot of people came up to the stage after the film presentation. We always have question and answer session, and they said that let me be part of this conversation and let me tell you my experience with William Saroyan.
A couple of rabbis.
And I also saw several books translated into Hebrew language of Saroyan books.
Really?
And the same thing happened in Turkey, in Istanbul.
Yeah.
When we went there to show the film, the same kind of people, enthusiastic people, they learn, they want to know more about William Saroyan. And I also saw 9 books translated into Turkish language.
Amazing.
So, right.
You know.
Now, overall, it has been translated into more than 24 languages of Saroyan books.
All right, the film debuted back in April of 1991, and I want to roll a piece of videotape. It's called Saroyan Film Number 1. We're going to play the sound on this and just a little clip of what the film is about if you want to go see the entire film this coming Sunday.
In the era of Steinbeck, Hemingway, Faulkner, Fitzgerald, and O'Neill, William Saroyan rose like Poseidon from the gloom of the 1930s depression and quickly ascended to the literary equivalent of a movie star, creating an army of irrepressible fictional characters who spoke of love, joy, and brotherhood in a time of unprecedented despair. In his own words, this is his story, which begins and ends in Fresno, California.
I'm Enoch Saroyan, born in Beetleys in 1874, now in the year 1910, 36 years old. Leaving a house, a little wooden house, apparently on a vineyard, apparently tracking it down somewhere near the town of Sang.
All right, a little snippet of the clip that we showed you there is part of the William Saroyan film that's going to be shown this Sunday at the church just down the street on First Street, the Armenian Church. 1 o'clock, you said, is the showing.
Yes.
Who all's going to be there?
Lots of people are going to be there. So
There's
first
a
of all,
luncheon, right?
there is a luncheon at 1 o'clock. We have some very special guests that will be there. California State University Fresno President, Dr. Joseph Castro.
Correct.
Fresno County Supervisor and former Clovis Mayor, Nathan Magzik.
Okay.
And United States Congressman Jim Costa.
Are you sure Jim Costa's going to be there?
We're hoping he'll be there. Jim
He's
Costa.
back in D.C. right now.
I know. He goes back and forth to Fresno, and
So you don't know what happens.
you never
the
know
last
until
minute.
the last minute, but we know that he really wants to make it, and he's going to try to make it if he can.
Right, okay.
And if not him, then his representative.
All right. We'll talk more about the film. We have some email questions here as well. And the film is about William Saroyan. Why was this guy such a major superstar in the world of literature, in the world of writing? You know, I mean, this guy, I mean, you stop and think about it, Paul. You knew him personally.
Oh, yes.
Good friend of yours. This guy was basically a high school dropout almost. I mean, he dropped out at the age of 15, and look at what he accomplished. It's amazing.
Well, let's go back a little bit. When he was a child, at the age of 3, they put him in an orphanage.
His father died.
Right.
Very
Yes,
traumatic
after his
experience
father
for
died.
him.
So that life, 5 years in orphanage, had a great impact on his writing. So after he got out from the orphanage, he got interested in writing. He always
Did it affect him psychologically?
Mm-hmm.
The orphanage, being in an orphanage, do you think it affected him psychologically?
Yes, psychologically, and he always remembered the life in orphanage, which he didn't like. He hated the life
at the time, but then later on, upon reflection, he really appreciated the order that it gave his life.
All right, we'll talk more after the break about what kind of an effect it had on him, staying in an orphanage for 4 years when he was just a small boy. William Saroyan, 436-MeTV, option 11, if you want to call in, or if you just want to sit back and listen to the program. It's a great program today. Talk to you in just a minute, right after the break.
When you're looking for Whirlpool innovation and quality, who has the answers, the selection, the price? Ventura TV Appliance. With billions in nationwide appliance buying power, more than Home Depot and Best Buy combined, will help you save. Our low prices on Energy Star qualified Whirlpool appliances save you energy and money, and pay no interest on select models when paid in full within 12 months. Ventura TV Appliance, serving you since 1951.
Not sure what you're watching? Want to see what's coming up next? Or just want to browse what's on without the hassle of flipping channels? Your wish has come true. Now you can view schedules for all the digital TV channels available in the Central Valley. Get local weather updates and forecasts, and listen to nationally syndicated Biz Talk Radio, all on KVHF 4.1. Rescan your TV now, then tune in to digital channel 4.1 to start enjoying the all-new TV guide.
Back here with Susie Kalinian and her father, Paul, who did this tremendous film that you can see this coming Sunday. So either one of you picked this up. How did it affect William Saroyan at such a small, being such a small boy, a young age, being in an orphanage?
Okay, the loss of his father that affected him deeply because his mother used to come and visit her children. So not that much as his father. His father was also a writer, and he was a preacher too.
Yes, and that's how he was inspired, because his mother showed him his father's writings.
Yes.
And
Right.
that's kind of what inspired him a
That's
little bit,
right.
right?
You're right. Yes.
Right. But did he have a long-term psychological effect from that stay in the orphanage?
He did. It affected him greatly. It affected his person, his
personality?
his personality. He found the benefits of being in the orphanage, which he talks about in the film, because he narrates the film himself. You will hear Saroyan's voice in the documentary.
You will also hear the voice of Mike Connors.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
the actor who just recently passed away. Of
Yes.
course, he played in Mannix. He was also born and raised in Fresno. And by the way, Mike Connors also Armenian.
Yes.
And Fresno.
Yes.
And born in Fresno.
Yes, born in Fresno. And the two did Mike Connors and William Saroyan know each other?
Yes, they were neighbors.
They were neighbors.
They grew up in the same neighborhood.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes.
So, okay, let's play another clip from the film, William Saroyan, film number 2, that you can catch this coming Sunday.
I went to the library one day. It was a dull, dreary day early in the year, January or February, and nothing made very much sense to me in the world and in the human experience, and I was looking for something that might make sense. And I got a book down from the shelf in the library, and I opened it almost anywhere, and it was a story called The Bell by Guy de Maupassant.
In 1934, at the age of 26, with the publication of his first book, The Daring Young Man on the Flying Trapeze, William Saroyan became an overnight literary sensation. The subject of this story is a penniless young writer who eventually succumbs to starvation and dies in San Francisco in the midst of the Great Depression. The author tells the story behind the writing of My Name is Aram.
My own name was to have been Petros or Peter after my father's father, but when my father heard that his friend, Dr. William Stonehill, had died, he decided to put the name William and the second name Stonehill to me. And it's written down in the family Bible.
All right, again, 1 o'clock at the Armenian Church over on 1st Street here, right near Huntington Boulevard. And I do have an email question here from somebody. It says, is it possible that the Saroyan film becomes a part of the curriculum at some of the Fresno schools?
Sure. I mean, we'd love for that to take place. Right now,
How do you get that to happen?
Well, you need a distributor. So not our form of expertise, but if there's a reputable distributor, then that can happen. It can be distributed to schools and libraries, which was our intent from the beginning. But now, since we've been showing it all over the world, we've had the opportunity to be able to donate the proceeds to the sponsoring organizations for their fundraising purposes.
All right, let's put up a couple of photos here. Let's start with photo number 4, if we could, of William Saroyan. And Paul, I want to ask you, I want to pick your brain here a little bit, because you knew the guy.
Yes.
All right, you knew him. You palled around with him or whatever. Did you? You palled around with him?
After I came to Fresno in 1964, I had great ambition to meet Saroyan and photograph him. But it wasn't that easy. So when I asked people, I said, I'd like to meet Saroyan. Is there any way? Well, they said the house is there. You can go and knock on his door, see what he says. So I did that.
Were you afraid he was going to kick you off the property?
He did.
He did.
He did
He
several
did.
times.
Kicked you off the property.
He
tried.
said, get out of here. Don't come and see me anymore. So after
What year was that?
years, that was after 1964. And until 1976, when I asked Varas Samuelian, who is a sculptor, he passed away.
Yes.
And I said, I heard that Saroyan used to come and visit you when he's in Fresno. Is there any way you can call me? This way I can bring my cameras and photograph him.
Yeah.
He said, oh, yes, with Armenian warm conversation. And finally, on March 26, 1976, he called me. I closed my studio. I took all my equipment and went there. In the afternoon, here Saroyan is coming on his bicycle. I couldn't believe in my eyes that I'm going to see this man face to face. So when he came to Varas's place, he entered, and they greeted each other with Armenian warm welcome. Then I asked Saroyan if I can take a few pictures of him. He said, get lost. Who are you? That was his first answer. After a few minutes, I went to the back room where all my equipment was set up. So 5 minutes later, they came in, and he saw that I was playing with my lights. He said, didn't I tell you, don't take my pictures? I said, no, Mr. Saroyan, I'm triggering my lights. I don't have film in the camera. He didn't believe what I said. So he said, open the back and give me the film. So when I opened the back, I wasn't lying. I was just triggering my lights. He said, who are you? What's your name? After he saw that there is no film in the camera, I wasn't lying. So he hated liars. He hated liars. So then we sat down. He sat right in front of my camera, and I quickly put the magazine on the back of the camera and start taking pictures as if I was playing, triggering my lights. So most
he didn't
of the
see you
pictures,
put the film in.
Yes, then I put the film in. Of course, it was
sneakily.
Yeah, quickly. Then I took all the pictures, and during the shooting time, he said, "Do you know there's a song named Giligia? Can you sing that for me?" I said, I don't know the song, but I know few words that I can sing. So I start singing Tsangam Desnem Zim Giligia, and he joined me. I saw tears in his eyes when we sang together. He said, Paul, take all the pictures you want. I like you very much. So from that moment on, I took the rest of the pictures.
What picture are we looking at here? That's William Saroyan, obviously, in the middle. Who's that on the far left, and who's that on the far right?
Okay, the far left is Varas Samuelian. Because of him, I met Saroyan. And the right, the middle one is William Saroyan. And far right is myself.
Okay, and what year was that picture taken?
That was March 26, 1976.
That photo, that's when that was taken?
Yes.
Ah, that's interesting. Wow, amazing. All right, give me a little bit about his personal life, because I read that he married a woman by the name of Carol Marcus.
Yes.
They later divorced, got remarried, I guess.
Remarried, and
got
then
divorced again, and then she ended up marrying a guy by the name of Walter Matthau. You know who that guy is?
Oh,
Big-time
yes.
actor?
Yes.
Why did
Very
his
good
marriage fail twice? What happened?
Well, you know, Saroyan never liked social life, and his wife was on the contrary. She wanted to go out and you know, meet people every night, but for Saroyan, was very difficult to leave all his writing and go spend time with people and just spend time for actually nothing. That just, he said, it was waste of time for me to spend with people that get eat and drink and waste time. So I think that's one of the reasons that I know.
Okay.
And that might be some other reasons also that I don't know.
Yeah, he just didn't like to socialize and relax and have a good time. Is that it?
Well,
I think he just didn't. He wasn't a big party guy every night. You know.
Yeah.
Right.
He was
Yeah.
more of a stay home type of
stay-home
person
type of
and
person.
do his
Right.
work and.
But didn't he
you know
kick his
what?
feet up once in a while?
Of course he did. And you never know what goes into the heart of a marriage, you know, until you're in that marriage. But, you know, he did love his wife. He loved his children very much. In fact, who marries the same wife twice if they're really not trying to make it a go of it?
Right.
So he felt things deeply and very personally. And, you know, when you're a genius, you kind of have imbalances in your life. You're really, really good at one thing and you can't be really, really good at another. And so sometimes the personal life takes the backseat.
Yeah, it took a hit, so no question about it. All right,
Sure.
got to take a break here. 436-ME-TV, option 11. You want to call in. Again, 436-ME-TV, option 11. Have an open phone line here. We're talking about the William Saroyan film that is going to be shown this coming Sunday, 1 o'clock at the church over on 1st Street, just off of Huntington Boulevard. Back in a moment.
You can find movies on over-the-air channel 13.3. Movies. Our name says it all.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy.
Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV.
Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
And a novel and a group of related essays, so to say. And I'm very fond of those. But the works that count are the works that reach people.
In 1943, another Book of the Month choice, The Human Comedy, a story about a family during World War II, was dedicated to his mother and won him the Academy Award for Best Writing Original Screen Story. Saroyan reads from The Human Comedy.
Next, best of all, a freight train puffed and roared far away.
Saroyan is never more full of emotion than when he recalls memories of his California childhood. His work is full of children. They appear in virtually every major book and are among his best drawn characters.
Having written a book for my daughter called Mama, I Love You, I felt that there should be a companion volume to be written for my son, and so we had the two books together.
That's just a small clip from the film called William Saroyan that's going to be shown this Sunday. I got a call waiting, but I want to ask you a question first. Was William Saroyan a nice man? Or was he kind of cranky? He looked like a kind of a cranky guy. Was he kind of cranky a little bit?
To me, he was a very humble and nice man.
Yes.
Because when I first met him at the beginning,
yeah,
I had completely different feeling that he's going to kick me out or do something.
He was cranky, huh?
Right. He was cranky at that time.
Yeah.
But after we got to know each other, or I got to know him, or he got to know me, vice versa, then he completely changed. He wasn't the same person when I first met him.
So he has to get to know you. That's part of
once
his
he
personality.
trusted in a person, he was just like a child after that. He is very sincere. He was very humble, and he always gave his heart or helped for in many ways that he could.
Yeah, it sounds like he just didn't trust outsiders too
Exactly.
much. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and you were an outsider at the time, and so then you became part of his inner circle.
Right, and we became very close friends.
Yes.
After we met, and a week later, he came to my studio. He handed me that book, and he said, "Paul, I never seen that picture."
Is this the book he gave you?
Yes,
All
right.
right, let's hold that up. It's called William Saroyan, and the title is Don't Go, but if you must, say hello to everybody. That's the book he gave you.
Right, and he autographed inside the book, and he gave it to me, and one of his portraits was hanging in my studio. He said, I have never seen my expression in this way.
Yeah.
So he gave me the book and left. And then he visited me most of the time when he was in Fresno, because he spent 6 months in Paris and 6 months in Fresno.
Yeah. Well, what did he do in Paris? Why 6 months over there? To write.
And write, yes, always.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Hey, caller, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, John, and thank you
Crank it up,
to your guests for bringing this film to Fresno and for the production of it. I think it's Saroyan was a part of the the American, the world literal, the literature culture, and as well as the the Fresno and Armenian culture. My question is, was Saroyan, did he speak Armenian, and if he did he speak it often, or did he speak mostly English? And one more question in regards to the production of your documentary: is most of the footage, is it archival footage that you shot, and if any, what were the challenges in obtaining these? I'll take my answers over the air. Thank you.
All right.
Yes,
Who wants to tackle the first question there?
Yes, first of all, Saroyan, of course, spoke English all the time, but he also spoke Armenian, which you will hear in the film. I have a segment that is at the end of the film. He spoke Armenian in his native Bitlis language, which is in Turkey. And the other question.
Well, many people don't know that he spoke Armenian, so that will be a little bit of a surprise. And he did speak, but of course his main language was English. English was his first language. As regards to the film is a mass of recreated scenes, archival footage, his personal trips to Armenia, live footage, and shot in multimedia. So very different types of footages were used.
We have several recreated scenes, and some people think that the footage was taken at that time, for example, 1917 or 18. say.
So they asked my dad, so how old were you when you took that footage? And we're like over 100,
Hey, so the second part of that question was, what about the archival
Yes.
footage, the National Archives? Were there any challenges in trying to obtain
Yes.
that footage?
There were a
What did
lot of
you have to-
challenges.
what kind of strings did you have to pull to get that footage there,
Sure.
Susie?
So if we had known when Saroyan was alive, when I knew him as well, if we had known that we were going to do a film on his life, we would have done things very differently. Of course, all of this didn't take place until after he passed away. And so it was very difficult to, first it took months and months to get approval in order to have access to his archives. At that time, they were spread around.
Hang on, caller.
And so it took a lot of writing back and forth, but finally we had access to all the archives to look through.
All right, caller, go ahead. You're on the air.
I had never heard before that he spoke in the Turkish dialect of Armenian. I knew that he spoke Armenian, but I did not know why. And could you enlighten me on that? Also, no time, I believe, has been said when this is going to be presented. What time does the bruncheon occur? Sure. What time does the presentation of the film occur? And what is the cost?
Sure. So first of all, it will be this Sunday, March 5th, and at the First Armenian Presbyterian Church.
Just down the street.
Just down the street. The luncheon is at 1 p.m. For those who are interested to come see, we've made special arrangements to, if you call the president of the Daughters of Vartan, and her name is Rita, her phone number is 559-970-4785. That's Rita Shamlian, 559-970-4785. She will take reservations. The cost for the luncheon for adults is $24 per person. There will be tables of 8. Plus, if you are a student, 8 years and over, it's $16 per person. And the type of luncheon that's available, just for those who are interested, the choice of entrees, we have lemon chicken piccata, almond crusted tilapia, vegetarian lentil kufte. You can let her know your choices. Dessert, salad, coffee, iced tea, water, the works. And then for those who only want to come to the film only, it's $10 per person. That film will be shown at 2 o'clock p.m. in the sanctuary. And then following the film, everybody is invited to a lavish dessert reception. And it'll be lots of fun. There's going to be lots of great activities and events, memorabilia, displays of Saroyan's portraits. You'll see the series of 14 characteristic portraits.
I've got to ask you some personal questions about William Saroyan.
Okay.
It's racing through my mind before I forget. Was he a happy person?
Yes and no.
Was he
happy
did
person?
Did he have some emotional problems?
Emotional problem only when he hear about people, why people are fighting, why people are killing at war.
Yes.
He was against war.
Yes.
And he wrote a book about that.
Mhm.
And U.S. didn't publish that book because it was against war. But England...
The Adventures of Wesley Jackson, after he
published it.
was
Yes.
honorably discharged from the
and
military.
happy all the time. Why? Because we always spoke about Armenians. He spoke about people that are famous and nice people that he was always...
But what did he like to do besides write? Did he like to go out and, maybe have a good time? And was he a drinker? Did he like to drink?
He was a drinker. He was a gambler. He did all that kind of stuff.
He was?
He lived life to the fullest. He had years of income tax trouble with the IRS. In fact, he went to writing his books when he had those troubles.
That is also in the film.
That's all
everything is in the film.
Right. Because
Holy
when
cow,
you
he's a
make
drinker and a gambler?
Oh, yeah.
my God.
Right.
Yeah.
When you make a documentary, you don't just put...
You can't
the
show just
good
one side. You got to
I
show
know.
all the
All
sides,
I understand. So how many times was he married? Just the once? Or
Well,
just
the twice
Just
to the
once.
same lady, and
Twice
that's
to the
it.
same
And
lady.
the rest.
And
Right.
that was the last.
Did he date? Did he go out on dates?
Well, I don't know much about that because I wasn't
Was
with
he a
him all
dater?
the time. But I doubt it. I don't know, because he loved his wife. He loved his
Yeah,
children.
he was in love with her.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But after he divorced her, I don't know if he did any dating.
But you know, he loved to meet people, and especially children. He loved to meet children. Most of his books are, the themes are around children. He was known for a simple story, simply told, very easy to understand, very, when he met you, he would stare directly into your eyes. When I met him, he stared directly into my eyes.
He's trying to stare you down?
And he would ask you all kinds of questions. When he was focused on you, he was totally focused on you.
Did he smoke?
Oh, yes, heavily. At the beginning, when he was writing his famous...
Cigars? Cigarettes?
No,
what?
cigarettes. And
what about cigars?
I never seen him
But he was
smoke
a heavy
cigars.
cigarette smoker.
Cigarette smoker and tea, not coffee. Tea. When he came to my studio, he said, "Paul, where is the tea? Did you make the tea? You knew that I was coming. Why you didn't make the tea ready? I don't have too much time."
And he would ask, "Is anybody in the studio?" Because my dad owned Paul's Photography Studio on Olive Street in Fresno. And if my dad said, "No, there's somebody here," then he wouldn't stay. But if it was empty, he would come in and have some chat time.
Right. Okay. We're going to talk more about the film William Saroyan and there's a lot of personal information in the film about his personal life, how he was, you know, what kind of a lifestyle he led. That's you know, that makes the film more interesting because people kind of want to know
what inspired
that
him.
Information, you know, what inspired him, what made him tick, what made his battery go. 436 MeTV option 11. We're back here on the program in just a moment.
It's Sully and Russ on the Big Biz Show. It's your biz.
And maybe they'll start listening to Baldwin McCullough.
Now, before you make any money moves, check in with the Brain Trust.
And you are starting your week off right.
Biz TV is now on KDHF channel 4.6.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the KitchenAid appliances we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy.
Save big with KitchenAid. Right now, get up to a $1,000 prepaid MasterCard when you purchase select KitchenAid appliances.
Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
I love Armenia and I love America and I belong to both, but I am only this. An inhabitant of the earth. So are you, whoever you are. My birthplace is California, but I couldn't forget Armenia. I should like to see any power of the world destroy this race. This small tribe of unimportant people whose history is ended, whose wars have all been fought and lost, whose structures have crumbled, whose literature is unread, whose music is unheard, whose prayers are no longer uttered.
Ընտանիքի մեջ մինակ հայերեն խոսեի, որովհետև մեր մեծեր անգլերեն չեր գիտեին։ Երբ որ ես 8 տարեկան ցկեցինք Oakland, California, վերադարձանք իմ ծնունդի քաղաք, ընտանիքին, որ կապրեր Fresno, California, ես մեկ բառ հայերեն չեր գիտեի։
William Saroyan was born in Fresno, California on August 31st, 1908. On May 18th, 1981, he died at the age of 72, about a mile from where he was born. Everybody has got to die, he said, but I've always believed an exception would be made in my case. Now what?
All right, sadly, William Saroyan died of prostate cancer back in 1981, correct?
Yes,
And,
May 18.
Yes. Who was with him when he passed? Were you there?
Yes, I visited him, but it was restricted to very close friends only. A lot of people came and waited outside. They couldn't have a chance to see Saroyan. His son visited him. His daughter visited him. I know that's for sure because I saw it. And he just had a terrible, very tragic ending.
Yes.
It shouldn't be that way.
How
A great man like
soon
that.
prior to his death did you see him?
Probably before 2 months, he passed away.
So you saw him 2 months before he died.
Right. He was skin and bone at that time, totally changed. He said, he never believed in medical healing. He could have done this surgery easily and done with it. But he said, if God gave me this way, let him take me this way too. So
he could have had the surgery.
Right.
And lived.
Right.
Instead, he chose not to.
But he turned it down. He refused to have surgery.
Wow. That's amazing.
Right.
Just amazing. He wasn't that old.
He wasn't 72 years old.
Yeah, 72 years old. By today's standards, that's very young.
Very young.
10 years after he died, the United States and the USSR created the William Saroyan stamp, jointly issued.
Yeah, we have a picture of that. We got the stamp. Go ahead and put it up on the screen there.
So that was actually quite an honor and a secret. We were sworn to secrecy. They contacted us 2 years before the stamp came out and selected my father's photograph, one of which that you will see. Oh, this is the one of which was made into the Saroyan stamp. So the day that he met him, that he explained the story.
Yeah.
So this photograph was taken during that time, and it was selected by the United States and the USSR Postal Services. For the U.S., 1 out of 400 was selected. They contacted us and swore us to secrecy until the unveiling was jointly issued by the United States and the USSR in Fresno and in Yerevan, Armenia.
Let's put up the other one. We have some others here, some photos of Power of the World. Let's put that one up real quick here and go through these quickly as we can. You can probably read that at home. Maybe take the logo off just for a brief time there. Just so they can see this in full here. You can kind of read it for yourself. Can we get rid of the logo? Can't do it? Okay, no problem.
He already spoke this.
What's that? Go ahead. Go ahead. What is?
He did that.
Go ahead.
In the film, he's speaking the same thing in his own voice.
That's one of his very famous quotes. In fact, it's used.
It's in the film?
It's in the film. He speaks it in a little more colorful way, I should mention, so you don't want to miss that. And it's also used in every Armenian genocide commemoration every year. Now, this year marks the 102nd anniversary of the Armenian genocide.
All right, let's put up the Saroyan quote, too. There it is right there. Indians are born with an instinct for riding, rowing, hunting, fishing, and swimming. Americans are born with an instinct of fooling around with machines. What did he mean by that?
You know, he had awesome quotes. In fact, if you go to www.saroyandocumentaryfilm.com, our website, we have a list of just hundreds of quotes like this that he has. And he had a saying for everything. He was very prolific, very funny.
All right, let's put up the other one, Saroyan with Paul. So let's put that photo up again. Saroyan with Paul. And there it is right there. We showed that earlier. That's the three of you, of course, the day that you met him. Let's put up the Gold Award as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And that's sitting right here on our desk, right here, the trophy. Or actually, it looks like an Oscar. It's been sitting in front of me the whole show. Exactly what is this?
So this, the film won an award, multiple awards, 6 International Film Festival awards, and one of which is this Gold Award from the Philadelphia International Film Festival for Best Documentary.
All right. It looks like an Oscar, but it's not the Oscar that he won for the film, all right? It's not the Oscar. By the way, where is that Oscar that he won?
The Oscar is at the Saroyan Museum until Fresno Metropolitan Museum was open, and it was displayed in that museum. But after they closed the Metropolitan Museum, that place is closed also.
Yeah, and he won that Oscar way back in the 40s for the human comedy.
For original screenwriting.
Original screenplay. I'm sorry, Paul.
He turned it down. He didn't accept the Oscar.
Yes.
He turned it down.
He said, commerce should not patronize the arts. It's no more better or good than anything else that I have written. Who does that?
So
that's in the film.
So he turned the Oscar down?
Yes. People are dying to get an Oscar today, but this man turned it down.
Yeah, quickly, in 30 seconds, because we have to bring another guest up here, what did he think, number one, of Armenia, number two, of the Armenian genocide?
Well, he had a quote that he spoke in the film about the Armenian genocide. And he also talks about Armenians, that he's well, you got to see the film in order to.
You have to see the film.
You know, I can
Let's
answer
take a
that,
break.
though.
Let's take a. We got to take a break
Okay.
because we got to have time to bring the other guest up. I don't want to get cut off here at 11.
Sure.
So, Paul, thank you so much. We'll bring the other guest up. Susie, you'll stay here.
Okay.
After the break, we'll bring our next guest up. 436 MeTV option 11.
When you like Ventura TV Appliance on Facebook, it's nice. But when you love the Samsung big screen we deliver, it's even better. Our website is cool, and it's a good place to start. But you really should touch the merchandise before you buy. Time for that upgrade to an HD 3D web-enabled Samsung TV. Get the best selection, price, and service in town without waiting. Come in to Ventura TV Appliance and touch the merchandise today.
The following is a list of celebrities you will not see on MeTV programs. Charlie Sheen, Lindsay Lohan, Snooki, Paris Hilton, Perez Hilton, Honey Boo Boo, Justin Bieber, Simon Cowell, Chris Brown, Miley Cyrus, and the Real Housewives of any place. This is who you will see on MeTV programs. Lucy, Ralph, Mary, Perry, Gilligan, Cannon, Spock, Batman, Rowdy, Festus, and the Beaver. MeTV. Thanks for watching.
This is Tough TV, Tough Sports, Tough Lifestyle, Tough Drama, Tough Reality, Tough Talk, Tough Specials, Tough Movies, Tough TV.
Now on KVHF 4.2.
Are you tough enough?
Back here on the program, Dr. Dennis Shamlian is here along with Susie. And good morning, Dennis. And
Good morning.
You want to offer something here
Yes.
regarding this film?
Since we're on the subject of William Saroyan and his views on the genocide, the Knights and Daughters of Arton sponsoring this film event is also sponsoring an event honoring Dr. Joseph Castro for his efforts in establishing the genocide memorial to all victims of genocide on the campus of Fresno State.
When is that taking place?
On March 25th at Pardini's. It's
Okay.
a Saturday evening. And
It's in honor of Dr. Castro, right?
for his efforts to establish the genocide memorial.
And has President Castro been a supportive of the Armenian community? I mean, obviously he had that monument put up that kind of says it all, but how supportive is he?
He's born and raised in the valley and is very familiar with the Armenian plight and most of the Armenians who originally came fleeing from the genocide to the Central Valley. And so he had, it's in his heart to support Armenian causes in that regard. So the Knights of Arton and the Daughters of Arton support Armenian events such as the Saroyan film, and we are trying to preserve our language and our culture and our heritage here in America and abroad.
Right. All right. Here's an email question. I don't know who can answer this. Did Saroyan keep his Fresno homes while taking up residence in Paris? What happened to his homes? Where are they?
Sure.
Who has them?
Well, he kept his homes while taking up residence in Paris. In fact, he had two homes right next to each other. One he lived in, the next door to his, where he kept for his friends or relatives or family to visit him, children to visit him. And he filled it with a bunch of stuff, storage, pennies. He was a pack rat. Cigarette butts, hats, shoes, all kinds of things.
Cigarette butts?
Cigarette butts. Hats, shoes,
He
pennies,
collected cigarette
rocks,
butts.
all kinds of things. He was quite an individual. In fact, though, his Armenian identity was very, very dear to his heart. And he always talked about how he was so proud to be an American and to be an Armenian. In fact, he spoke for minorities and spoke for Armenians to the world at a time when they remained dispersed and continued to meet with prejudice and outright hatred, when they were dropping their last names, the IAN of the Armenian name, he stood up and said, hey, for anyone who dislikes Armenians, I am one of them. I am an Armenian.
All right, another email question. Why didn't Fresno State end up with the Soroyan papers upon his death?
They were approached, but because of dragging of feet, it ended up going to Stanford, but it would have been an appropriate location to house all of his papers. But unfortunately, alas, it didn't happen.
Right. And how many of your father's portraits of William Soroyan ended up on Getty Images and all these other places?
Well, the characteristic portraits of Soroyan you will see at the film show. We're going to have a big display that people can walk around in, and a lot of memorabilia, a little red carpet event, and quite interesting. And for your viewers today, John, if they're able to call Rita at 559-970-4785, they can reserve their tickets today. Just give them their name and what they're interested in. The deadline was yesterday, but we've extended it to March 1st for your viewers.
Final words. You get the final word.
We'd just like to thank you for having us here and to promote this event and other like events here in the community. And thank you.
Well, thank you, Dr. Dennis Shamilian and Susie Kalinian, and thank you to your father, Paul. You produced this wonderful film. It's been around 26 years and still going strong. And it's going to be shown this coming Sunday at the Armenian Church over on 1st Street. That's just not too far from Huntington Boulevard, right here in Southeast Fresno. 1 o'clock if you want to go, and call the number. Thank you both for being here.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Out of time. Hey, tomorrow we are going to talk to an author who wrote another book, my friends. You know him well. His father was a professor at Fresno State. Friday we'll talk about Obamacare. See you then. Have a good day.
If you have a need to promote your business or event, please consider MeTV Fresno for your next campaign. MeTV reaches over 100,000 of your potential customers in the Fresno area every single week. Plus, you can rest assured that your commercial is running in the greatest family-friendly programs of all time. MeTV Fresno delivers a strong, loyal audience ready to buy, and your campaign will cost a fraction of what you're paying for your advertising now. Call me today to find out how affordable MeTV is at 905-1925.
Frigidaire. We introduced the first home freezer, the first pulsator agitator washer, and now we introduce the Frigidaire Orbit Clean dishwasher, designed with a unique wash arm that gives you 4 times more water coverage for a consistently better clean. Frigidaire, over 90 years of legendary innovation.
See the full line of Frigidaire appliances at Ventura TV Electronics and Appliances.
From a top-secret location, it's the Spies Who Love Me, bringing together MeTV's top super spies to fight evil at a memorable moment